Yeah, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the walkthrough. Today we'll be doing Jagged Peak. So you want to start down here at the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion, and the reason for that is before we go clearing Jagged Peak. It's kind of a Dragon Peak. Either one works. But we need to decide what to do with the Dragon Communion Priestess here. By default, if we just leave and we go on to defeat Bayle, the final boss of Jagged Peak, we can return to this location at the end and she will be gone. In her place, we can find the Priestess Heart, which is a reusable item, transforms you into a Dragon Priestess. While transformed, you have 7% damage negation to all damage types and 70 resistance to all statuses. If you use the item again while you're transformed, it's also going to boost your Dragon Cult incantation damage by 20% for 60 seconds. Just to be clear, Dragon Cult is lightning stuff, not the Dragon Breath or anything you get by trading Dragon Hearts. Those are Dragon Communion incantations. We'll get an item for that in this episode, though. You're also going to get a hammer called the Flowerstone Gavel, which has an Ash of War that reduces enemy lightning defense. It's kind of a weird weapon because it scales primarily with strength and arcane, so it would seem like a better option for Dragon Communion builds since those incantations scale with arcane. But if you're running like an all-around dragon everything build with faith and arcane, then this might still be a solid option, so you can get some use out of the lightning debuff it has. So yeah, those are your rewards for doing nothing with the priestess here and just going off to kill Bayle right now. Dragon Priestess transformation and the Flowerstone Gavel. Our other option is to rest and pass the time tonight, so I will do that. And you should find the Dragon Priestess looking at the sky, trying to communicate with Senessax, and you have the option to give her Tiolia's concoction, which will cause her to fall asleep. If you wait one full in-game day, she's going to wake up and be disappointed that she fell asleep. If you go kill Bayle now, you can return to this location and she'll be here still and give you the Dragon Bolt of Senessax incantation, which lasts 70 seconds, boosts all damage negation for you and any nearby allies by 10%, and increases guard damage negation by 20%, which means when you block with anything, you block 20% more damage. Then, if you talk to her after that and admit that it was you that put her to sleep, you'll get her Spirit Ashes, Ancient Dragon Senessax. They're super strong ashes all around. I'd definitely place her in the top 10, but easily top 5 if you're running a lightning build. She'll cast Dragon Bolt of Senessax when you summon her, so you get that buff automatically, which is super nice for anyone. But she also wields the Flowerstone Gavel, which means she's going to apply its lightning debuff to enemies and make them take more lightning damage. She also deals lightning damage herself. She mixes in some Dragon Claws that do a ton of stance damage. And if you're using lightning damage too in your own build, that's all just going to synergize super well and results in a ton of damage on bosses. So in the end, her questline just comes down to whether or not you decide to give her Tiolia's concoction before killing Bayle. Pretty simple. Just do whichever one gets you the rewards you want, and come back in New Game Plus to get the other rewards if you want. And as you saw there, I'm going to be opting for giving her Tiolia's concoction. I meant to wait until I was done explaining to do that, but that's because I do use quite a few lightning incantations. They're not my primary source of damage, so I would benefit more, I think, from just having a support summon that buffs me without me having to change up my playstyle. But honestly, who am I kidding? I spent so long making these walkthroughs that I usually forget summoning is even an option nowadays. I'll be playing on a totally different character and kill a boss solo and then remember, oh wait, this isn't for the walkthrough. I can just summon and have fun now. But whichever way you decide to go, once you're done, just ride north like I'm doing now. And we're going to keep going until we get back to the area that we killed the Jagged Peak Drake earlier. Might be slightly faster to go from the other Grace over here to the left, but that's alright. Had business down at the altar. Well, once you get here, we're going to go through this weird double opening thing. Very strange rock formation. And we will follow this path to the east until we hit a spirit spring. There it is. So once you see it just before, we're going to cut up here to the left. It's going to be some skeletons you can probably just ignore if you're on horseback. And they're all staring at the edge of this cliff where you'll find a cookbook. And then just backtrack to Spirit Spring. Jump up here. And you can cross the bridge to get to a Grace. Alright, so I guess something I meant to mention at the beginning of this episode, but if you're running any semblance of a quality build, meaning you have a pretty good amount of strength and dexterity, or honestly, even if you have just an insane amount of just one of those stats, like I don't have very much strength at all, but I do have 80 dexterity, so, you know, there's a chance I might be able to get a decent amount of damage out of this weapon, but I wanted to draw your attention to the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. For this whole zone, we're basically just fighting dragons, so this is kind of like a Storm Ruler or Serpent Hunter Spear for just this whole zone, really. The Ash of War on this is going to give you a big projectile that it's just like this big wave. If you remember fighting the Ancient Dragon Man, he used it in his fight. But it's super good for just hitting the head of a dragon, the weak spot, from range, and does a ton of extra damage to dragons. You can see it even causes some blood loss build up there. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and upgrade this thing to +10 and you have a build that actually works pretty well with it, you can't change its affinity, which is why I say you want a quality build ideally. You see it scales pretty equally with strength and dexterity. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a ton of dexterity. Maybe that would be enough that it could still do a viable amount of damage. I don't really know. I haven't tested it. But for those of you who do have a build already that this works really well for, highly recommend it for this area. But anyways, up ahead there's going to be 2 dragons fighting. Only one of them has a health bar. Once you kill the boss one that has the health bar, you'll hear Igon yelling out further up the path to the east, so I would assume you could just ignore the second one, but I feel like they're usually both pretty close to dead, so I usually just kill both. This is an incredible place for Latenna. Haven't heard that name in quite a while, I know, but we can just, there you are, set her up here. You can summon somewhere around here. There we go. And we'll get to work. Okay, that's not the boss one. I'll focus on the boss one. It is so hard to see right now, my god. It's fog. Maybe set it to daytime, it's usually not this bad. Oh, that other dragon is just almost dead already. I mean, that's fine. Honestly, I feel like it's easier to just fight one than both of them. Too easy to get caught in the crossfire. Down goes one. Alright, so defeat them and you should get Dragon Hearts, Dragon Scale Flesh. You hear Igon laughing over there. There's going to be another much harder dragon fight here in like 2 minutes, so and there's not going to be another grace between here and there, so I'll just go back and rest right now while you're close. And then we'll climb back up and go talk to our pal Igon. So speak to him, and I'll give you Egon's furled finger to summon him for the Bayle fight coming up. And that's all. Also, I should mention, when we ran away just then, he does have some, like, dialogue that he gets out where he's just, like, yelling, and, like, before you actually have the option to talk to him. So if you want to hear all that, don't run away immediately like I did. And then, the other thing to know is if we, like, rest right now and come back, he's going to be laying here dead, or at least completely unresponsive. So if you just did that in the opposite order, you talked to him first, and then you went back and rested, and now you're running through here again, and he's dead, don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong. That is, unfortunately just how this goes. But once you get that finger from him, you can hop up here. And again, feel free to run around and grab all the red Fulgur Bloom you want. A bunch on this corpse here too. And we'll keep making our way up the mountain. And if you go straight right here up this path, there's going to be a couple boulders up ahead that fall and start rolling down. So what you can do instead is just go up this left path here. See one of the boulders right there, but if you go this path, then they won't actually fall down, so you can safely grab the item underneath them, which is a Shadow Tree fragment. And then right up here, you will find the next boss. So this is Ancient Dragon Senessax. Being an Ancient Dragon, it's resistant to just about everything except pierce damage, and especially resistant to lightning. It absorbs, like, I think 80%, if I remember right. I think that's pretty standard for Ancient Dragons, so don't try to use lightning against it. It's not going to be a good time. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this fight is horrendous. Every problem you've ever experienced fighting an Ancient Dragon is just going to be worse in this fight. It's twice the size of a normal one, so the camera issues are even worse. It's obviously going to be super strong since we're so late in the game, so late in the DLC specifically. And it's going to do an insane amount of lightning damage. To make things worse, you have to fight it in water. So the lightning hits harder since you're standing in water, and it spreads out in a massive shockwave every single time it strikes. So if you do this fight on foot, you're going to have to roll twice through almost every single attack. For that reason, I would highly recommend just fighting it on torrents and running around constantly to hit its hind legs, where you will be least likely to get caught by lightning. To be specific, the strat I like to do is just a complete hit and run. So we're going to be far away and let him face us, and then run under the dragon and just charge up, you know, one of our drive-by heavy attacks. Do, you know, 1, maybe 2, depending on your weapon. But any more aggression than that, and the dragon's going to have time to, like, start turning and adjusting to where you're positioned, and it's going to hit you, and you're going to have a bad time. So basically just do that, and then run away, make it face you again, and rinse and repeat. We're just running straight from in front of its face, underneath it, through its legs, and hitting its back legs on our way through. Rinse and repeat. It's going to take a while, but that's the easiest way to fight it. At least if you want to fight it the normal way. Realistically, you should just cheese this boss however you can. Any projectiles to the head, they can stance break it easily, are a good choice. We haven't gotten Pest Thread Spears from Ancient Rao Ruins yet in this walkthrough, but that's a great option for stance damage to the face. If you're playing through this in New Game Plus, you've already done the DLC, or if you did things in a different order than I did, any kind of like Scarlet Rot would be fantastic. Poison, Scarlet Rot, Bleed, Frostbite, all that's going to work. They'll just take a while to proc. The good news though is that this option, or this boss, is totally optional for progressing through the area and for Igon's questline. You can just skip it if you want to. If you choose to fight it, it does drop 200,000 runes, an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, and a Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. Pretty solid rewards, so probably worth killing at some point, but there's no need to stress yourself out with it right now if you don't want to. You're not hard stuck here. You can just run up that path to the northeast and ignore it. But whenever you're ready to do it, I would also recommend Latenna again, just for some extra damage. Speed this up. Set her over here nice and safe, and we'll get to work. So hit its legs, run away, make it face me, go back in and do the same thing. See those massive lightning shockwaves? It's ridiculous. Facing me again, go in here. Nice little charged heavy. See, I tried to go in for a second attack there, punished immediately. Maybe get a little more aggressive at the beginning of the fight just to make sure you establish aggro so it doesn't go for Latenna. That'd be kind of a bummer, but we're doing alright as you can see. Maybe hit its tail a couple times too. Pretty good strat if you have a quick weapon like I do. I'm stuck. There we go. And look at those, dude. It's insane, and the damage. You notice I really am like waiting for it to face me before I go in, because we kind of want to like time it so that when it's ready to attack, we're just running under its head, so it gets locked into an animation where it's trying to attack a target in front of it, which makes it safe for us to attack the hind legs and the tail behind it, right? We'll trade there, worth it. So, there you go. 200,000 runes as promised, Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone, and then we can run up to the northeast when you're done. You can see now why the Dragon Hunter's Katana is pretty good for this area. It's literally just dragon fights. So grab that Grace, we'll go northeast around this corner here. Past some slimes. Get Igon's Cookbook 2. Backtrack to the Grace. And then I'm gonna make it daytime. It's just like, it's not going to be that much easier to see because there is just a perpetual storm up here, but I feel like it'll help a little bit. So yeah, from the Grace we'll go southwest up this hill. So you get to Spirit Spring, jump up to the south, and then keep going southwest. There's a little jump you gotta make right here, be careful. And then, actually, I'm dumb. Just gonna drop down literally right where that was. And go back north a little bit. And the storm should clear up. A chair will appear right here. And then you just have to wait a few seconds until the storm completely clears up. You can see the shadow tree. And an artist will finally appear. That's called the Domain of Dragons painting. Get the rock heart, which is another reusable item. This one transforms you into an ancient dragon. It works just like the priestess heart, basically. This one will give you 50 resistance to all status effects, 10% damage negation to all damage types, and when you use the heart again while you're in dragon form, it gives you a 20% damage increase to dragon communion incantations for 60 seconds. It's kind of confusing now, because this one is associated with ancient dragons, if you read the description here, but it boosts dragon communion incantations, the breath ones that you get from trading dragon hearts. The priestess heart, on the other hand, I mentioned earlier, boosts dragon cult incantations, which are the lightning ones. Needlessly confusing, but it is what it is. So with that, go northeast. It's so calm, so peaceful. And then it's not. We'll just go back up the Spirit Spring, same one we just hit. Go southwest again, and this time we just won't fall down to the right where we did before. Another little gap to jump there. Hit the Spirit Spring going east, and then we're just going to turn directly around 180 degrees. Go north here. Find some slimes guarding a somber ancient dragon smithing stone. Backtrack to where we just hit the Spirit Spring. Jump down into it. And then straight back up. Maybe. There we go. And this time we'll stick to this upper path going east into this cave. Find some more slimes. And then up the hill nearby. So you reach the Jagged Peak Summit Grace. Now then, Bayle the Dread. I can't promise this fight will be easier than Senessax, but it's at least a lot more interesting and fair, and in my opinion, actually fun. So, that's good. Still kind of a tank though, and it hits hard, but it's a way better fight. It's a dragon, so pierce damage is still going to be your best option. I'm going to level up here too while I'm thinking about it. One sec. Okay, so, yeah, it's not absurdly resistant to lightning like the ancient dragons, but lightning still only works as well as any other element, which is to say, not very. It has weak points on its head and its bad leg, both of which take 50% more damage. As for Igon, we can actually get his rewards whether we summon him for this fight or not, but you can't not summon Igon. He's the #1 Bayle hater of all time. I helped Hornsent get revenge, and I don't even like the guy. Igon is coming with us, no debate. Also, he doesn't increase the boss's health bar because his summon sign is inside the arena, so there's just really no downside to taking him. Gets some of the best NPC dialogue in the game. There's no way you haven't heard it by now if you've been online before. Igon's summon sign is going to be immediately to the left when you walk into the arena, but you have to trigger the fight before you can see it, so walk to the middle and Bayle will make a crazy entrance. Honestly, you just have to walk until you hear a dragon roar. If you're not playing with sound on, my apologies, you're probably going to get squished, but once you hear the dragon roar, you can come back and Igon's sign will be near the entrance. If you have to run back to the entrance and pick up Igon, chances are you're going to get cornered by Bayle, and the first run will just be cooked immediately, but maybe you get away with it. Every subsequent attempt, though, go through the door and it'll be right off to the left. You'll see it. So let's get to it. Oh, actually, yeah, I mean, it does lots of fire damage, lightning damage. Figure out what's bothering you the most. I always keep this Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman on to boost physical damage, but yeah, I mean, you could even go for Pearl Drake if you really wanted to. So, those are options. There he is, run back. And there's Igon's sign. That's a grab attack. Oh, wasn't ready for him to open with that. So yeah, when his mouth glows like that, grab attack, you can just roll backwards. It's actually pretty easy to dodge, you just have to see it coming. This is the bad leg, the leg that there is no leg. So you can hit him here really easily if he's looking at Igon. Otherwise, I usually just go for his head. I'm gonna drink this too, try to get a stance break. Jumps behind you, does like a straight lightning thing. I always like to dodge to the left on that one. Already out of stance break. Okay, so he stays down for a while, so you can get good charged heavy and Ash of War, mix in a light attack, and then go for the crit. Really get a lot of damage. Even a little wake up here. And then he goes into phase 2. So run away from the flame spouts. And he's gonna grow some really sick wings. Fly up. You want to run to the right perpendicularly to these fireballs. While keeping an eye on him, after last fireball, he comes in with a dive bomb, roll through it, and then watch out for the flame spouts one more time. Again, big AoE, watch out for all those. Left to right fire. Definitely doable to roll through that. Here when he roars forward, it's going to track you with some lightning bolts. Just run, you can avoid all of them. We'll dive bomb, and then underneath him you're going to see an explosion, so just spam roll. Even if you get stuck underneath him on that one, you should be able to pretty easily just spam roll and avoid that explosion. It seems pretty forgiving in my experience. Roll through the fire on the left, hopefully, and straight through forward, hopefully. That went really poorly for me. And then he lands like right behind you, so be ready to dodge a follow-up combo there. And also, after he attacks, this delayed lightning jumps behind you again for the forward fire. That's a pretty intense combo, but jumps at you, follows up with the tail whip, be ready for that. Big slam, follows up by an earthquake thing, so you can just jump over that. And actually, if you're close to him, you could just do a jumping attack off of that jump. That works well too. Unfortunate. It's the lightning spam again. Watch out for the follow-up lightning. Oh yeah, that's right. It also explodes afterwards too, so I actually dodged the fire that time and then forgot to roll a second time. There's the grab attack. See, it's super easy to dodge if you just roll straight backwards. I get caught in that every time. Insane tail swipe. It's gonna do it again. Alright, time to lock in. I got sloppy. Oh, I think he grabbed Igon. Like, what is happening right now? flying again. He can actually repeat this phase transition move, as you can see. Rolled a little early there. Unfortunate. It's alright. I lost all my momentum there. It's like such a good attempt and then just couldn't hit him for like a minute straight while he was at a quarter health. Is what it is. But the more footage you guys see of the fight, the better, I suppose, right? That's actually crazy that missed. No. Nice. I actually kind of don't like when it's looking at Igon, because I feel like, for me at least, I just feel most comfortable spacing out and timing my attacks when it's looking at me. But worse things could happen. Way too far away. Every time, man. Roll the explosion. No way! That's just a skill issue, honestly. Jump that. That's crazy. I can't even explain to you guys how sad I get when I miss a wingstand shot like that by like an inch. Tragic. Nice. Nice, twice, dude. Let's go. Oh, just hates me. Left this time, still hits me, dude. Love that attack. Actually dodged it, let's go. Almost. I lost the lock on that time, that's my defense. My excuse. Too early on the bot. Grab attack. Not today. We'll trade. His death animation's terrifying. But he is actually dead. So you get the Heart of Bayle. Special little dragon heart. Whole bunch of runes. And you can trade that Heart of Bayle at the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion, which we will go do here. So rest up and then warp to foot of the Jagged Peaks, right over here. And we'll just run up the hill nearby and go east to where we last spoke to Igon. And you can loot his corpse for Igon's great bow, his armor sets, and his bell bearing. That warped back to Grand Altar of Dragon Communion. So if you did not give the Dragon Priestess Teolia's concoction, you should find the Flowerstone Gavel and Priestess Heart here. If you did give her Teolia's concoction, then speak to her. It hasn't been a whole day, I guess. That's actually kind of crazy. So I will pass the time until next morning. She's back up, good to go. So talk to her. And she'll give you the Dragon Bolt Floorzax incantation, and then you can confess to putting her to sleep. And you should eventually get the option, if you keep speaking with her, to take her with you. Accept, and you should get the Ancient Dragon Floorzax Ashes. Also, while you're here, like I said, remember to grab one of the rewards for the Heart of Bayle. So you got regular Ritual Dragon Communion. Grab the Ghost Flame Breath there if you want. We have a ton of Dragon Hearts. And then you have a separate Communion with Bayle option. And just whichever one you want, even if you're not going to use it, if you don't have the stats for it, they are pretty high. But you can only get one per playthrough, so make sure to pick that up and grab the other one on a second playthrough. And with that, we are done with Jagged Peak. So next time we'll do Ancient Ra Ruins up here, and then on to the final episode after that. So hopefully you guys found this episode helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.